What's up guys, your boy Dr. Diamonds. I need to get used to that. Welcome to the video. How to lose fat and build muscle at the same time. Is it possible? The short answer is yes. I've done it twice. The first scenario, I was on holiday, I didn't train any, and then when I got back into the gym, it took 2 months to be able to lose fat and build muscle simultaneously. This year I was also able to do it in January, where I was able to have a slow progressive cut. And the general consensus on Instagram is that I did build muscle and lose fat simultaneously. But how does that happen? Now these are the mechanisms of action of building muscle and losing fat. In terms of building muscle, food's ingested and broken down into amino acids and proteins. The amino acids and proteins are in the blood and they're concentrated. Through resistance training, the amino acid is delivered to the skeletal muscle. You then have muscle protein synthesis, and that results in skeletal muscle remodeling. So after training and damaging the muscle, the amino acids and proteins are then directed to your muscles to be able to repair them and thus also building your muscle. Now this can also simultaneously happen with losing fat. Now fat is generally stored in your adipose cells, but for your fat to be utilized, you need to be able to have it requested as energy from the body. So the triglycerides in the fat cells are activated by certain hormones, and hormone-sensitive lipase breaks down the triglycerides, sends them into the bloodstream, and these triglycerides and glycerols are used in the bloodstream as a source of energy. So both of these actions can happen at the same time. But I've done all the complicated research for you guys, and we're going to the kitchen to talk about topic number 1, which is the diet. Research has shown that a high protein diet is beneficial to build muscle and lose fat at the same time. Now in this research, a high protein diet combined with heavy resistance training improved body fat composition. They had 2 groups, one group that had normal amount of protein and the second group had a high protein diet. They concluded that consuming a high protein diet in conjunction with heavy resistance training may confer benefits with body composition. Now in this particular study, they saw that individuals who had a high protein diet had a decrease in the fat mass, and they also showed that there was an increase in lean body mass in individuals who had a high protein diet. But as you guys did hear, that it was combined with heavy resistance training. So just besides the diet as my tip number 1, we'll go to the gym to talk about resistance training for tip number 2. So the look you want to have is not just a low body fat, but a low body fat with muscle. That is the look that you're going for. Now, you guys did see that weight training is imperative to be able to build muscle and lose fat simultaneously. However, what type of training is the question? Now, there was a study released in 2004, isolated versus complex exercising and strength training of rotator cuff muscle groups. Now, this was the research. The isolated group exercised using 2 kg dumbbells, and then the guys who did the complex group used a protocol with complex exercises and protocols. These were the results. The results showed that the complex group significantly improved their muscle performance, but the isolated group did not, indicating that isolated exercises are only effective when the training goal is to strengthen the weaker muscle group. But they must be replaced by more complex and close kinetic exercises. So, focusing on your heavy compounds is what this is saying. So what I always do in all my training programs every day, I'll start with a heavy compound. Today I'm training back and biceps, and the compound of choice is deadlift. So you guys will see, I'll start with 4 plates, and then I'll decrease down with a reverse pyramid. And now we're going on to training more isolated muscle groups to be able to strengthen those isolated muscle groups right after doing compound exercise. So focus on compounds, then isolated movements, or accessories as we like to call them, to go. My tip number 3 is cardio. But the question is, which cardio is best for fat loss? Now, there was research done by the Medical Science Sports, and what they did is they compared high intensity interval training to light intensity steady state cardio. With individuals who did high intensity interval training, they did 30-second maximum bouts of sprints followed by 2 minutes of walking at a normal pace. And they compared it to light intensity steady state cardio, where individuals walked for 30 minutes to 60 minutes. The result, individuals who did high intensity interval training dropped 12.4% fat mass, compared to individuals who did steady state cardio who only dropped 5.8%. So there is evidence that shows that high intensity interval training is better for fat loss. You burn more calories in 1 minute of high intensity interval training compared to steady state cardio. So I do advise and recommend to add this into your regime of cardio. So that is tip number 3. Let's go into tip number 4 that has to do with steady state. Woo, let's go. Tip I can give you guys is to increase your NEAT. NEAT stands for non-exercise activity thermogenesis. Basically, any sort of movement that you're doing that's non-exercise, whether it be cleaning your room or cleaning the apartment or going for a walk, that expends more calories. Just you having more activity, your body moving faster or keeping yourself active is a really good way to expend calories. So I take Blue on a walk every day, and I'm able to expend calories that way, and you'll see gradually over time this will help in fat loss just because you're having more of a reason to use energy. So that is my last in terms of cardio. Let us go home so I can give you the easiest one you can do, but some people aren't doing it enough. I'll catch you guys at home. And tip number 5 I can give you guys is get adequate amount of rest. There was a study done by the University of Chicago, effective 1 week sleep restriction on testosterone levels in young healthy men. Now in this study, what they did is restricted young adults to sleep restriction, and the result was that the daytime testosterone levels would decrease by 10 to 15% in the young men and who underwent 1 week of sleep restriction to 5 hours per night. And as we know, sleep restriction is one of the most imperative, or testosterone is one of the most important anabolic hormones in building muscle. So that is my last tip, and don't take it for granted. Get your sleep, have your body repair itself. So all that work that you did isn't going to waste. I've done this myself with med school and not sleeping enough and not seeing my gains the next day. But I'm gonna leave the video here. If you did enjoy it, hit the video with a like. If you're new, subscribe, and also hit the bell button so you can get notifications of the video when they come on. My bad, but I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.